I have just finished the Atlas 6. I was scared to pick this one up because I was not sure if the hype will be real, but I can say it is real. To get into the ancient secret society that guarantees all kinds of power and knowledge, the six powerful magicians have to go through a rigorous year. Out of these six abnormally talented magicians, only five will be selected. And although it's full of so many discussions about magic and theories, it was still enjoyable to follow how these characters were studying and developing their skills. The stake to become the chosen five is so high that it was easy to push myself to understand what these study and all these discussions are about. The Dark Academia vibe is phenomenal, and the main six characters have equally unique talents and personalities, which makes the tension between them more delicious. The twist at the end was an unexpected gut punch, and I enjoyed every drop of it. I think I just always get a surprise whenever there is a twist at the end with any kind of books, but I really cannot see it. Maybe I'm just so engrossed in the story that I cannot really see further from it. On a serious note, thematically, this book was a beautiful display of humans' eternal greed for power. The society doesn't want to distribute this knowledge and power, and they want to just hold it and do it for themselves. Their argument is that some knowledge is not for the mass population because it can get into the wrong hands, which gives a very good philosophical question. Who has the right to decide who deserves what? Now let's get into the second book. I enjoyed this way more than the Atlas 6 because this one dives deeper into each main character's psyches. Since I was already familiar with these characters, I didn't have to really force myself to memorize each character's personalities. Instead, I could focus on their inner worlds. I was surprised that this one's rating was lower than 4 stars on Storygraph, which is currently 3.63. It was innovative that this fantasy novel is more driven by character development than by a plot, because a lot of fantasy novels are driven by plots usually. The Atlas Paradox is centered around diving deeper into each character's inner world and how they function and tick. Some people might think that nothing happens in this book, and I understand that. If you are hoping that something big would happen and move the plot, you will be disappointed by this. For me, although nothing really happens in this book, I enjoyed looking into these interesting characters' minds. Thematically, this book talks about destiny. Is your life already decided? If so, can you really make your own choice? Especially, this one character needs to decide between accepting her fate and risking other people's lives to get out of it. Other than that, the monologue about how the powerful ignore and blame the powerless even when there is a simple solution was written beautifully. And how that monologue chapter ends, if you know, you know. Finally, I finished the last book of this series, The Atlas Complex. Oh my god, the twist while they're doing the experiment is mind-boggling. I knew that something will go wrong, but not like that. And while the twist happens, the past incident that was hidden gets also revealed, which is crazy. I acknowledge that the second book and the third book, this one, can be a bit too philosophical compared to other fantasy novels. The author's intricate writing style can also make these philosophical questions headache-inducing. These books dive into destiny, power, knowledge, and purpose repeatedly and deeply, even at the expense of the plot development. I also like the message that the can doesn't mean should. The experiment at the end didn't have to happen, even though those characters had the ability to do so. The purpose of living doesn't have to be proving yourself constantly. Yes, you might have the power to destroy the world, but you also have the choice to not to do it. I don't know how to rate this book, 4.75 or 5 stars? I'm still thinking about it, although I finished it yesterday night. I don't know what to do, because to give 5 stars, I had some moments that I felt like it was a bit dull or too philosophical, but also I had these moments that I had to highlight every single part in that paragraph because it was so beautiful. As my final thoughts on this series is such a complex and beautiful story about power and purpose. It will not be a cup of tea for everybody, but if this is your cup of tea, you will have a philosophical blast. I also like that these 6 main characters are complicated and flawed. They make mistakes, they do good deeds, but their heads are just whirring with all those contradictions. I'm not sure if starting the new year with this heavy series was a good decision, but I don't have regrets. I'm glad I finally read it. I know there will be a new book from this author this year. I'm quite thrilled to read that. I hope this video was helpful for you to decide whether or not to read this series, or it was fun to watch after you also read this. Thanks for watching this video. Catch you guys later. Bye!